Welcome, fourth graders. Welcome to your Inference mystery lesson, The Murder at Blue Mountain Lodge. You're going to be helping to solve the murder at Blue Mountain Lodge. So you're going to be a detective with me. And we're going to make predictions and use evidence to support your opinion. Meaning you're going to make inferences and use evidence to support your prediction. At the end of the lesson, you're going to solve the murder at Blue Mountain Lodge. You're going to be looking at evidence, the clues, the proof, to come up with your personal thoughts on who killed the character of Miss Peabody. You're going to fill out the notes in Seesaw with me. So whatever I have on my screen in the red text box is all the words, because right now in Seesaw this is blank. So whenever I type in the clues for each of the suspects, you know that you have to fill out the clues with me. You follow along and you pause. So what I do, you do. Then at the end, you're going to type in 4 complete sentences on what do you think happened? So the murder at Blue Mountain Lodge. We're going to be reading a short story to introduce the problem, what happened. Then we're going to be looking at clues. And every time we discuss each of the clues, we're going to go back to Seesaw. So you'll be going between this video and the Seesaw tab. And I already have some of the clues written in to help speed up the process. And then you will type in the clues whenever I say, "All right, detectives, please write your clues with me." So let's get started. The murder at Blue Mountain Lodge. And you'll fill out your notes with me. So our suspects are John Green, Drew Brown, Lillian Scott, Jared Trumbull, David Schaefer, Kimberly West, Mrs. Kitty Jones, and Jim Prince. We have to solve who killed Miss Peabody, who's the killer, who's the murderer, who's responsible. And we have the clues that we have to put together in order to solve this crime. So fourth graders, let's play detectives and solve this mystery. The murder at Blue Mountain Lodge. It was a cold and rainy night when John Green decided to go for a late night drive through the mountains. His usual stop was Blue Mountain Lodge, where he enjoyed his favorite hot meal on a cold, stormy night like this. As John made his way through the winding roads and pouring rain, he noticed a peculiar sign on the road that had not been there before. The sign said, "Turn back now." Although the sign was a bit startling, John was a stubborn young man who was not afraid of anything, or so he thought. He continued down the road to his destination. When he arrived at the Blue Mountain Lodge, the lights were out and the road was silent. Not a car in sight. The Blue Mountain Lodge was never a busy place, but John had rarely seen it so dead. And a lodge, fourth graders, is sort of like a hotel, but it's smaller. It's not as big, and it's usually in someone's home, and people stay and eat there, and they can also spend the night, just like a hotel. So John parked in the empty parking lot and got out of his car. As John headed for the door, John felt eyes piercing him, meaning someone was watching him. He could not see anybody, but he could feel their presence. John slowly opened the door to the lodge and reluctantly walked in, meaning he didn't want to but still went inside. He flipped the light switch, but no lights came on. He went back to his car to grab a flashlight. As he walked back into the lodge, he heard a scream come from the lodge. He rushed back inside the lodge to investigate. Lying on the floor was Miss Peabody. Her body was as stiff and cold as ice, meaning she is dead. So, detectives, let's investigate and look at the clues we have to solve and find the killer who killed Miss Peabody. It's time to make inferences, predictions, and use the evidence, the clues to support your opinion on who killed Miss Peabody. Let's take notes while we infer. Let's look at our first clue. Miss Peabody owned Blue Mountain Lodge. The murder was discovered on the morning of Friday, August 22nd at 10 a.m. Very important clue, detectives. The autopsy reports state, meaning they did a test to see when she died, and the body had been deceased for at least 12 hours, meaning she had been dead already for 12 hours when they found her on Friday morning. That means if they found the body on Friday morning, she was probably killed at 10 o'clock p.m. because her body had been dead for 12 hours. So she was killed on Thursday, August 21st at around 10 p.m. So detectives, let's write down our clues. So in Seesaw, let's go to page 2 and type in murder was discovered 8:22 at 10 a.m. And we're going to type in killed on August 21st at 10 p.m. So Miss Peabody was discovered August 22nd at 10 a.m., meaning she was killed the night before on August 21st at 10 p.m. So please write this down. Fill out your information on Miss Peabody. She's not a suspect, but we do need to write down when she was killed and when her body was discovered. So if you have these two clues written in the Miss Peabody box, you are ready to move on. If you're not, keep writing. But I highlighted right here. Now let's go back and look at our next clue. On the morning of August 21st, at about 10 a.m., Drew Brown was seen entering the lodge. So now we have a new suspect. We have information on Drew Brown. Lillian Scott, another suspect, was a frequent visitor, meaning she went to the Blue Mountain Lodge a lot. Many people believed she was envious of Miss Peabody. Very important clue, fourth graders. Let's write down our clues. So go to page 1, and for Drew Brown, we're going to type in, he was at the lodge August 21st at 10 a.m. So the day that she was killed, he was there at 10 o'clock in the morning. So write this down. Lodge 821 at 10 a.m. Then we're going to write jealous of Miss Peabody, Miss P for short, visited the lodge a lot, and this was Lillian Scott. We have clues, we have evidence on Lillian Scott and Drew Brown so far. So don't write the information on John Green yet, or Jared, or David, or Kimberly. Right now, only type in the clues for Drew Brown and Lillian Scott. So what I do, you do. So this is how the lesson's going to go. I will show you a clue, and then we'll type in the clue in the text box and Seesaw. Let's keep investigating detectives. So Drew Brown was dating Miss Peabody for a short time before the murder. Many of the townspeople believed he was only dating her for wealth, meaning for her money. Let's make a prediction. Who do you think killed Miss Peabody so far? We have 3 suspects, Drew Brown, Lillian Scott, and we have John Green, who found her body. So let's add to our notes. We have clues for John Green. So type in found Miss Peabody. For John Green, type in found Miss P. Then for Drew Brown, we're now going to add, and we're not writing complete sentences, we're just writing phrases for the clues in the text boxes. Dating Miss Peabody for her money. So at this time, please write dating Miss P for her money for Drew Brown's clue. And for John Green, we have the evidence of found Miss Peabody because he was there when the body was found. So now let's go back to our clues. The Blue Mountain Lodge had been robbed shortly before 9 p.m. on the evening of the murder, August 21st. So we know that Miss Peabody was killed August 21st at around 10 p.m. But an hour before, the Blue Mountain Lodge had been robbed. So fourth graders, who do you think the main suspect is? After getting this very important clue, make a prediction, make an inference, get your brain warmed up, start making inferences and predictions. And these are the clues, the evidence. Detectives, let's look at our next clue. There was a rumor around town that Miss Peabody kept a secret safe in Blue Mountain Lodge, in the Blue Mountain Lodge that contained $50,000 and various jewels. Lillian Scott was a local hairdresser in Blue Mountain in the community. She was seen leaving her brother's house the night of August 21st at around 9:25. So why was she leaving her brother's house at that time? And she was a local hairdresser. Remember, Lillian is jealous of Miss Peabody. And most likely, since she's a local hairdresser in that community, let's make a prediction that Lillian probably did and styled and cut Miss Peabody's hair. Then John Green found a pair of scissors at the scene of the crime. So maybe we found our murder weapon. So let's take down some notes. So fourth graders, aka detectives. For John Green, let's type in found a pair of scissors at the crime scene for John Green. So what I do, you do, fourth graders, type this in. And pause and type in. Then, for Lillian, let's add local hairdresser, meaning that's probably the connection she had with Miss Peabody. She cut her hair. We're making that prediction because she is the local hairdresser in Blue Mountain, that community. Then we added our clues for John Green. So pause and write when you're ready. Click play and let's keep investigating, detectives. Now, Jared Trumbull, Lillian's brother, had a close friendship with the town's banker, David Schaefer. So now we know that David is the banker and Jared is Lillian's brother. David Schaefer, the town banker, was seen walking around the outside of Blue Mountain Lodge at about 10 p.m. the night the murder was discovered. So why was David there the night Miss Peabody was killed at around the same time? Then Drew Brown was seen taking a train out of town at around 9:30 p.m. on the night of August 21st. Now, why is Drew leaving Blue Mountain, the community, on the night of the murder? Why is he skipping town? So, fourth graders, who do you think the suspect is now with the introduction of these new clues into the investigation? Since you're detectives, we have to take down some important notes on the suspects. So let's add on to David Schaefer. So type in banker. So type in what I do, you do. Please write in your clues for David. Then we're going to type in was at the lodge around the time Miss Peabody was murdered. So pause and write. Then we're going to add that Jared is Lillian's brother. So type in Lillian's brother underneath Jared in the text box. This is a clue for our suspect, Jared. So at this time, pause and write. Now let's go back to our clues. So we know David's the banker. David was there at around the same time at the Blue Mountain Lodge. And then Drew Brown, he was seen taking a train at around the same time of the murder. So let's go back and add our notes for Drew. And he was also dating Miss Peabody for her money. So let's type in left on a train. Left on a train out of town. Left on a train out of town for Drew. So why is he leaving? Did he use Miss Peabody's money since they were dating? Lot of questions. So remember, if you fell behind, just pause and type in your clues for each of the suspects for page 1. Now let's go back and look at our clues. David Schaefer had often been seen around town with Lillian Scott. So Lillian and David know each other. So let's go back to our notes, detectives, and for David, we're going to add, remember we're just adding phrases. Hangs out with Lillian. That's a new clue that we're adding to David's text box. The clues for David, we added hangs out with Lillian. That means for Lillian, we have to add hangs out with David. So at this time, add on to David and Lillian's clues. Then when you're done, let's go back to the other clues, detectives. Jared Trumbull, which is Lillian's brother, had an alibi. An alibi is whenever you are a suspect, you have to come up with the whereabouts of what you were doing the night of the murder. So they're asking for like your location, like where you were at. So his alibi is he's saying on the night of the murder, he could not have done it because he was having dinner with Kimberly West from 7 to 10 p.m. For 3 hours they were having dinner. That's a long time for dinner. The only person that had a key to Mrs. Peabody's lodge was Drew Brown. David Schaefer was a well-liked man throughout the Blue Mountain community. After all, the townspeople trusted him with their money. So we have a lot of great clues. Detectives, let's write the clues. So for Jared, we're going to add his clothes with David. Was with Kim. We'll just type Kim instead of Kimberly. When Miss P was killed. Then for Kimberly West, friends with Jared. And we're typing in had dinner with Jared the night of the murder. So at this time, add your clues for Kimberly West, Jared Trumbull, And I'm going to pause so you can catch up. Make sure that you have all of these notes on page 1 in Seesaw. So please copy your notes, your clues, 4th graders, aka detectives. Then when you're done, let's keep going. Let's find out more about these suspects. So who do you think killed Miss Peabody now that we know that Jared was supposedly with Kimberly for 3 hours having dinner? Then the only person that had a key to the lodge was Drew Brown. He was the only one that had access to the lodge because he had the key. And David Schaefer was a well-liked man. And people trusted him with their money. So we have to add for Drew. So follow along with me. Type this in. What I do, you do. 4th graders had only key to the lodge. Very peculiar, very interesting. So type in had only key to the lodge underneath Drew. That's a clue for him. Then for David, we're going to add he was popular because it said he was well liked and trustworthy. They trusted him with their money. The town of Blue Mountain trusted David because he was the banker. So type in popular and trustworthy for David. We have a lot of clues for all these suspects. Let's go back and find out more. Mrs. Kitty Jones said she saw the deputy, Jim Prince, driving his patrol car around Miss Peabody's neighborhood on the night of August 21st. Jared Trumbull was a well-liked man and honest. He was honest in the community of Blue Mountain, although his sister was not well-liked. Then the local bank had access to all the insured safes in the town of Blue Mountain. Now, remember, Miss Peabody had a safe with money and jewels. And who's the only person that has access to the safes? Who works at a bank? Remember, David works at a bank. He's a banker. So let's add to our notes. We need to add that Jared, the brother of Lillian, is well-liked. So type this in, well-liked. The new clue for Jared. Then we need to type in the new clue for Lillian. So type this in with me. What I do, you do. Not well-liked. Why do they not like her? Then we're going to now, remember, go at your own pace. Go to page 2. Mrs. Kitty Jones said she saw the deputy at the lodge the night of the murder. So what was the deputy there? Then Jim Prince is our deputy. And we're going to type in pause and write. Patrolling Miss Peabody's home the night of the murder. And Mrs. Kitty Jones saw the deputy, Jim, at the lodge. So pause and write, and let's look at the new clues. Miss Peabody had been killed by 3 fatal stab wounds. Lillian Scott was the town's gossip girl. She knew everything about everybody. Very important. We have to add that to Miss Peabody. She's not a suspect because she is dead. But we do need to write that she has 3 stab wounds. That's how she died. So what do you think the weapon? What is the weapon that was used to give her 3 stab wounds? So type in 3 stab wounds underneath Miss Peabody's box, her text box. Then we're going to go to page 1, and we found out that Lillian is a gossip, so maybe that's why no one likes her. She doesn't keep secrets and she talks about everyone. Lillian does not sound like a good person so far. So pause and catch up. You should have all of these clues for each of these suspects on your notes page in Seesaw. So now, David had purchased 2 plane tickets to Costa Rica, scheduled to leave August 22nd at 9 a.m., the morning after the murder. So why is David trying to leave? Why is David going to Costa Rica? And he purchased 2 tickets. Now, Drew Brown was a new member to the town of Blue Mountain. Many people saw him as an outsider and didn't like him very much. These are all of our clues now. So let's go back and add in Seesaw. For David, we found out a new clue is he bought 2 plane tickets. So Mr. David is trying to leave Blue Mountain. So make sure that, I was trying to move this so you could see. So remember, David bought 2 plane tickets. Then Drew, he had just moved to Blue Mountain. So he's an outsider. He's new. So at this time, please write outsider for the new clue for Drew and bought 2 plane tickets for David's new clue. And then pause at this time to catch up on any of the clues. You must have all these clues written down. Then for page 2, please have all these clues written down as well. So catch up time if you fell behind. Just pause the screen and write all the clues, because those were all. That was the evidence that was provided to us. Now, detectives, what do you think happened? Who killed Miss Peabody? The reveal. Tomorrow I'm going to reveal who killed Miss Peabody. You have to check the reading classroom inbox tomorrow, Wednesday, to find out who killed Miss Peabody. But right now, you're going to have to predict, give me the suspect, and explain what you think happened. Please make an inference and use evidence. The clues would be these. I've included the clues in Seesaw, so you have time to go back and look at all the clues at your own pace. So now at this time, in Seesaw, on page 2, you're going to type in what you think happened with the sentence starter, I think. So you're going to write 4 complete sentences, 4th graders. I want you to tell me what you think happened. Who killed Miss Peabody and how, and then use the clues right here as your evidence to explain why you think that suspect killed Miss Peabody. So detectives, it is your time to think, to make predictions, to use the evidence. Look at all the clues. And for example, if I think it was Jim, I would type in, I think Jim. I'm not saying that Jim did it. This is your example on how to write down what you think happened. So if I said that Jim killed Miss Peabody, I said, I think Jim killed Miss Peabody. Because I'm going to now explain why. After the word because is where you include the evidence. My clue is the evidence. It said, Jim was patrolling Miss P's home the night of the murder. So I said, because he was at the lodge the night of the murder, that's why I think Jim killed Miss Peabody. This is one sentence. Then I want you to add 3 more, a total of 4 sentences explaining what you think happened. Be very detailed. Give me your theory. Give me your prediction, your inference on who you think killed Miss Peabody. When you're done, 4th graders, you know the drill. Click on the green check mark to turn this in. Then I will reveal who killed Miss Peabody tomorrow. You have to go to the reading inbox to see Who killed Miss Peabody? Thank you for watching. Please tell me what you think happened, make predictions, and use evidence. Write 4 complete sentences. Thank you for watching, detectives. Have fun solving the murder at Blue Mountain.